Hey, welcome. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time. It's the show that is sponsored by Fanduel, the best show in the biz, I think. We got Dave Potts. Cheese is good in the house. What up, Cheese?
Not too much. We are eagerly awaiting the arrival of a squirrel who should be here semi-momentarily or
On cue.
directly momentarily.
Here's the thing, Cheese. When you win $100,000 every other night, you show up whenever the hell you damn want to. What up, Squirrel?
Hey, how's it going? It's really more like every other week. Like, let's be realistic.
Yeah, we don't want to exaggerate. Every third day, maybe. Good to have you. Welcome, bud. How are you?
Good. Small little morning slate, but good way to kick off the day.
Very good. We got Dave Potts. Cheese is good. Multi-million-dollar winner as well. Cheese, how are you, good sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's 4-game slates are a little too small, but it's exponentially better than a 3-game slate still. You got enough stuff that even with some kind of obvious chalk, there's essentially 8 offenses and at least 7 pitchers that are moderately playable. So I don't mind it.
Okay, very good. We should make a few notes here. First and foremost, we're going to be back again later on today. Hit us a little thumbs up for that. We got 2 free shows coming your way, trying to keep this content free for you. So make sure you hit us with a thumbs up. Second is, I have a little weather report to give. And the only question mark is in Baltimore. Geez, I would assume, as there's only 4 games, it's an important game.
Yeah, they're all important, but it is the number 2 pitcher on the board is in that game.
Yeah. It looks like to me they're just going to have to play through a few sprinkles early. That rain might get a little bit heavier mid-game, but still looks very playable. And then they just have to beat out the storms that are going to pop in the mid-afternoon. Being that it's an early start, I'm hoping they can do that. And I think they will. Forecast models have the rain getting in at like 3 or 4 Eastern. So that should give them enough time. It's closer than I'd like, but it's a small slate, and I think it's going to work out. So what are you going to do other than like take that risk, right?
Yeah, I don't see any reason to change any plans based on it.
That's where I'm at. Is I can't promise you that it's going to work out, but I think it's going to work out, and I don't think that on a slate like this we have a lot of room to just be like, oh, we'll just not worry about that game. So I would just play it in all formats, in cash, all positions, pitcher, whatever. I would just play it, and I think it's going to work out for you, and that's it. I just can't promise it. I lowered the risk from yellow-orange down to just yellow. That's pretty much all I want to talk about as far as weather goes. So, Cheese, you want to dive into some pitcher talk for us?
I do. So we have one, obviously, chalk thing on this whole slate, which would be Kenta Maeda against the Tigers. On DK, he'll probably be, 80% owned in like single entry stuff and, 65, 70 probably in larger field. It's not like he's amazing. I mean, this is not like the best pitcher in the league, but he's very good.
Yeah.
He's very steady. His pitch count has come up. Like he's no longer getting pulled at 75 pitches. I mean, he's more around the 90 range, which is plenty. I don't see much reason to overthink it. Like you should definitely throw in both a few Tiger stacks against him and a few just nothing from that side of the game. No Maeda and no Tigers, just a few. I guess no guarantee he's one of the top 2 scoring pitchers. But he probably is, and this is chalk that I'm fine eating, especially on DK, where to find 2 pitchers other than him, it's pretty sketchy.
So cash and single entry, you're probably playing that dude.
Yeah, I mean, cash 100% for sure. And in single entry, there's a few like high-end Brave stacks where you can't quite fit him, that's fine. Like, there's just not much to overthink because it's such a small slate.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's go through some of the other names.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot to overthink past him because, Hunter Brown is the next best guy, but he's not an amazing DFS pitcher. There's some risk in his matchup. He's a little pricey. I basically like Reese Olson as much as Hunter Brown, and he's a lot cheaper. I don't think there's any ownership discount to be concerned about one way or the other with those guys. Like everything past Maeda should get more or less clumped together. And I also will throw Alek Manoah, Bryce Elder in there. I didn't end up with any Syndergaard or Dean Kramer. It's totally fine because of the way this slate is. But essentially, if I have salary, I would much rather overthink it with the bats and worry about ownership there and just play Maeda Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford Brown. I'm playing mostly Olsen as the next guy with some little sprinkles of Manoah and Elder.
Okay. No other names you want to mention? That's good.
That is absolutely it.
Okay, let's go over to Squirrel. I saw some fancy zooming happening there. I don't know how you did that. You want to explain that?
Sure. I just had to run up and lock the door, and my camera like automatically zooms in and out when I move around.
My camera's doing it too. I don't know what is going on. This is technology at its finest. The zoom button.
Incredible zooming on Cheese's end as well. Okay, I'm impressed with your auto zoom, but I want to be impressed with your pitcher pool as well, Squirrel. Let's start with Maeda. Where are you on that chalk?
Yeah, so these smaller slates can be all about game theory. I'm probably a little underweight on Maeda, just because I think he's going to be too owned than he should. But he's the clear top pitcher. It's the clear top option. It's just it's 4 games. It's one day. Anything can happen. So I'm aiming to be a little bit over the field on Reese Olson, like taking some of the ownership from Kenta Maeda, figuring that it's a direct like leverage spots, right? Like there, if Detroit wins the game, Reese Olson gets the win, Maeda doesn't. It's very plausible he ends up with a higher score than Maeda in that case. So trying to be a little bit overweight Olson. I'm really taking most of Maeda's ownership and actually spreading it out even further to like Bryce Elder, Alex Manoah, and I even have a pretty good amount of like Dean Kramer and Noah Syndergaard on DraftKings, where you have to have 2 pitchers. And I even have like single digit ownership for Bailey Falter, just figuring you don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm spreading it out pretty thin today, like pretty much across all of the pitchers you possibly can. Just figuring it's a small slate in one day.
So essentially, your hope is that just the best pitcher at the higher ownership isn't the best pitcher today, and one of your other guys will be. Yeah,
that's exactly it. But I'm not. I mean, it's not like I've X'd out Maeda or anything like that. I'm just aiming to be, maybe at 2/3 of what his projected ownership percentage is going to be.
Okay, very good. Before we move on, there are some things we need to cover. First and foremost, if you haven't signed up for the Fanduel Sportsbook, you should. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. If you are in Tennessee, Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, you can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. If you're in Washington, West Virginia, Indiana, Iowa, and all other legal sports betting states, that's probably most of you, you can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1K. Terms and conditions do apply. So make sure you are checking that out. Squirrel, we want some stacks, but we don't just want stacks. Butthole Jenkins in the YouTube chat says, cut the crap. I need the feel it in your plums play of the day on the morning slate. So who is your favorite stack of the day if you feel it in your plums? Oh, you're muted, I think.
I'm going to go with Toronto.
Right, there we go.
So Atlanta is the highest projected stack, and they're almost always the highest projected stack. That's why all of their hitters are like 6,000 on DraftKings, and 4,500, 4,800 on FanDuel. But usually you face the restraint that you just can't, like on a 14-game slate, like you can't fit in all these Atlanta hitters. But today you can. And so I think that's going to lead to like very heavy ownership on Atlanta. Again, I'm not buttoning out Atlanta, but I'm trying to play as much Toronto and say Houston as Atlanta, and figuring that's going to put me under the field on Atlanta and way over the field on Houston and Toronto. And I think for like single entry, I think I'm playing mostly like Houston and Toronto.
Okay, good stuff. That's just an excellent explanation. Cheese, do you have any stack that you just feel it in your plums, or is it not a feel it in your plums kind of day here?
It's kind of not, but it's honestly the same too. Squirrel, like Houston and Toronto are the two. I have more of them than Atlanta, so which makes me think neither me or Squirrel are as sneaky as we think we are.
Right.
We're not the only ones thinking that. I will next go to Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right, very good. We got to go around the horn, but before we do, Instrumental says, "Hey, I just got here late." Well, it's your fault. That's detention for you. He says, "Can I get a quick update in Baltimore weather?" Yes, you can. I think at the end of the day, it probably just works out. I think they're going to play through some sprinkles, maybe play through some showers. Storms pop in the afternoon. I think they arrive after the game. I can't promise you it works out, but I don't see anything on radar that makes me think you should fade this game right now. And that's just where I'm at. On a small slate, I think you just take that little bit of risk and roll with it. Let's talk about a little around the horn position by position. But first, Cheese, did you know the NFL is right around the corner? Did you know that?
Yes, because I've been planning which Browns games to go to.
Nice.
Yes.
That's an excellent life. Well, the NFL is actually already here. We got preseason. We are more ready than ever. This is my first read on this, so I'm going to butcher it. We are more ready than ever with our team of experts and our suite of tools. Let RotoGrinders handle the legwork so you can do less, win more this NFL season. Get access to everything we have to offer at a special discount available only to those with a RotoGrinder subscription. You get a full season subscription for $50 off at a limited time only price of $375. This starts at noon, I believe, noon Eastern. So essentially, this just happened. Oh no, that's when the show started. I'm an idiot. I got my reads mixed up. That's already happening. The promo is happening now. Make sure you take advantage of that. Cheese, shall we? It said right under that at noon Eastern, but that was the start time of this show. So I butchered that.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks. It's the first read. They'll get better. I'll get better at it. Cheese.
It'll be hard not to get better at it. Yeah, absolutely, you will.
Got to start low and build our way up, guys. All right, let's dive into it around the horn. Cheese, start me off with some catcher talk.
So a big picture, there are very few hitters at any position that really stand out outside of stacks. There's a couple here and there that'll point out, but a catcher is one of those positions that doesn't have any that really stand out on their own. Like other than just playing the guy in your stack, I'm just playing it based on salary. Like if I have money sitting around, I will go Rutschman and then I'll go Travis d'Arnaud. But if I don't really particularly care. I'll play Bo Naylor as my first cheap guy and then Ryan Jeffers. But this is as play catch in your stack day as ever.
Okay. We've got a late start in Baltimore, but it's a late start with an announced start time. I don't love this, but this must have just been some rain pregame that just kind of delayed things. First place will take pitch at approximately 12:45 Eastern, which is that's 15 minutes tardy, Cheese. Right.
12:40. That's 10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right. It doesn't change. It's 10 minutes. It doesn't change anything, but it does. Like I would have liked that 10 minutes. Like there will be storms arriving this afternoon. Every 10 minutes kind of counts, but it doesn't change anything as far as the weather goes. I'm just glad that there is indeed a start time. Okay, Squirrel. Anything a catcher you want to add?
I think I'm probably most overweight on Danny Jansen, just as a result of attempting to be overweight on Toronto Blue Jays. That like a 10-minute rain delay almost seems more like a pregame ceremony delay than a rain delay.
They did say inclement weather, so okay. Yeah, they mentioned that. But I think about 30 minutes ago there was a batch of heavier rain, and they might have just gotten the tarp off after that, and just the warm-ups were a little bit delayed. So the whole process probably just running a little behind, but all good there. Any other catchers you want to name?
I think my two favorites are Danny Jansen and Adley Rutschman. I'm aiming to be overweight on Jansen.
Okay, great. How about first base?
First base. So yeah, Matt Olson, Vlad Guerrero, I think are the two highest projected guys. Brandon Belt is actually hitting second overall ahead of Vlad. So I've got a little bit more Brandon Belt than Vlad Guerrero. He has like 2,000 cheaper on DraftKings. In terms of value guys, like John Singleton, I think is in the lineup. No, I guess he's he's in the lineup, starting lineup for the first time with Houston. So I like him as a salary saver.
Okay, Cheese, first base.
Yeah, there's not much to do. The Toronto guys and Olsen are the obvious chalk. I'm with Squirrel. I like Belt better than Vlad. I actually like Belt better than Vlad straight up. I have at least 2 DK lineups with Brandon Belt and $2,000 left, where you could absolutely just play Vlad instead of him. But I'm playing Belt. Alfonso Rivas and John Singleton are the dirt cheap home run guys if you want to chase them.
Okay. Then second base, Cheese.
Ozzy Albies, far and away the best play if you have salary. Whit Merrifield should steal a base or two. And he and Andres Jimenez in that game are completely fairly priced. And I wouldn't argue with you playing them ahead of Albies because of the salary. Everyone else is in a stack. I mean, I certainly want Altuve in my Houston stacks, Polanco with the Twins, and or Julian. I kind of like playing Polanco at third and Julian at second. But really, Merrifield, Albies, Jimenez is kind of it on their own.
Okay. Squirrel, any other names?
It's second base is an interesting position today. It's almost like the better version of catcher, where I'm using the guy in my stack, but I have the top 5 second basemen projected pretty highly above all the other second basemen, and they're all on different teams, and they're all hitting either first or second. So yeah, like Whit Merrifield, Ozzy Albies, Jose Altuve, Jorge Polanco, or Andres Jimenez, just depending on which of those team stacks I'm playing.
Gotcha. All right. How about third base?
Third base, Jose Ramirez, Austin Riley, and Matt Chapman stand out above everybody else. And then, similar to second, if you're playing a Minnesota stack, Jorge Polanco. If you're playing a Baltimore stack, Gunnar Henderson.
Okay. Cheese, third base.
Yeah, I said at the beginning, like there's not a lot of players anywhere at any position that really stand out outside of stacks. But Ramirez and Riley are definitely 2 of them. I'm going out of my way to get as much of them as possible. With Chapman a close third, and then Bregman a close fourth. I'm counting Gunnar Henderson just as a shortstop, though you are welcome to play him here as well.
Okay. How about shortstop, Cheese?
Gunnar Henderson. The shortstop is pretty weak. And so, like, to me, Gunnar is really far ahead of the field, even against a good pitcher. Carlos Correa is certainly close. And then after that, it's pretty much just a cheap dart throw or someone in the stack, like Orlando Arcia. You can play in Brave stacks. Rocchio is leading off for Cleveland against a guy who will probably just walk him. So I don't mind that. But that's all there is. It's a very thin and weak position.
Squirrel, short?
Yeah, I think the one thing to note is that Rocchio is leading off, so that he's only 2,300 on DraftKings. He is 2,100 on FanDuel. I think it's his first time leading off, so he's been hitting down in the lineup. So he's too cheap for leading off. So he's one of my favorite salary savers. Then Javi Baez. I should mention, I don't mind the idea of playing some Detroit stacks against Maeda because he's going to be so highly owned. Like 2 of my favorite Tigers would be Baez at shortstop and Spencer Torkelson at first base. Not to mention.
Great. Okay, that brings us to the outfield.
So yeah, Ronald Acuna is the highest projected hitter. He's my highest projected hitter on the slate. I think he's going to be the highest owned hitter on the slate. I'm going to aim to be a little bit under the field on him, just hoping that he has a bad day, because he might see his highest ownership that he does all season. I mean, he's one of those guys that's priced up so high, it's really difficult to get him most days, even though he is the highest projected hitter. But I think today people are not going to have that constraint necessarily. So I'm a little under the field on Acuna, I think, although he makes a good one-off as well. But then other outfielders, I like Kyle Tucker and Jordan Alvarez with Houston. They're priced up around the same price as Acuna, so I think they'll see a little bit lower ownership than they should. And then Whit Merrifield and George Springer with Toronto.
Okay, Cheese, what do you do in the outfield?
Alvarez, Tucker. Oh, yeah. And you need 3. I like them better than Acuna. For sure, with the ownership discount and even a slightly lower salary. It's not really the salary thing. It's just, yes, Acuna is the best fantasy player in the world, but Alvarez and Tucker are both better actual real life hitters of baseballs, in my opinion. Although all three of them are just great. If you can play all three of those, like you should just do that.
Right.
At some point, we do have a salary cap.
We live
I'd
in the
like
world
the
of a salary
Pirates.
cap.
That's what I've been told. Yeah.
Yep.
I like Reynolds and Sawinski a good bit. Springer on Fanduel is way too cheap. The other Braves on Fanduel, especially like Ozuna at 2,900, I think is a pretty great salary saver. You can punt all over the place. I mean, like guys like Cole Calhoun is essentially minimum salary. I never mind like a Ryan O'Hearn. Nathan Lukes is in the Toronto lineup for a minimum salary on DK. But along with third base, like I would rather just punt with nonsense everywhere else and try to get at least two good outfielders.
Okay. We need some bombs. We need some bomb calls, Cheese. You want to give it to Tucker or Yordan or?
Alvarez and Tucker.
Oh, the double bomb call. Squirrel, you got a couple names for me?
Sure. I'll go with Sawinski, and I will go Kevin Pillar.
Okay. Someone in chat, J3, says Kevin Pillar double Dean Dong today. Not sure why Dean's name got thrown in, but you're on a similar page for at least one.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to double dong in one at bat, but he's got a shot.
Does he a pinch hit risk or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
But it's not a guarantee. If the Braves are up 12-0, I mean, they might just leave him in.
Gotcha. Hey, you know what we should do is we should do a quick little rehash on what went down. Got some people saying they came in late. They need a little bit of pitcher action. Cheese, would you mind kind of rehashing it both on FanDuel and DK for us?
Yes, obvious top play and very heavy chalk, Kenta Maeda. Like that's just a decision about how you feel about essentially like an 80% owned guy on DK and probably 50 on FanDuel. That's about where I'm at on him. He is the best play, but I have no issue swapping Hunter Brown for him, and then I like Reese Olson as the cheap guy.
Very good. We've got 10 minutes until lock. We're probably not going to make it all the way to lock, but we will take a few of your questions. And once those start drying out, we're going to bounce out of here. Are we taking a nap today, guys? Who's napping? Cheese, you napping? Yeah. Squirrel, you napping?
Nah, I can't nap today.
I know, me either.
We got golf. There's golf to watch.
Oh, okay. All right. I heard it was rain delayed or rain changed.
You're not going to nap because golf is on?
Yeah.
The world is happening.
If I put golf on, I will find myself napping.
Yeah, I was going to say those two may not be mutually exclusive.
Right. All right. Let's. Michael says any early dinger plays. I feel like we just went over those, right? We just hit those. We got the Astros guys. That would be Yordan and Yordan and Tucker, and then Squirrel said
Sawinski and Pillar.
Sawinski. That was the name I couldn't think of. Sawinski and Pillar. Thank you. Let's see if we got any QQs here that we haven't covered. Last piece from Instrumental, DK Cash, Squirrel, you like Palacios, Lukes, or Calhoun?
I'll go with Palacios.
And that's where, like, that question is where this slate is so weird and interesting. Like, there's so many cheap, like dirt cheap, essentially free plays that aren't completely terrible. Like these are all reasonable plays. You can do a lot of things today. I like it.
Does it make sense to like play all of those cheap guys and spend up elsewhere, or no? You don't need to. You only need
no, because there aren't spend ups elsewhere. Because all the good spend ups are in the outfield too. But I can see a case for doing two of them with one of Acuna, Alvarez, Tucker, and then get Ramirez or Riley and Matt Olson or something.
Okay. Albert in the chat says it's Palacios, which Squirrel properly pronounced it, but Albert's last name is Palacio, so he would know. What are the odds?
Yeah, go get him, Albert.
Yeah, that's my bad. We have a town near Houston that is spelled that way, and it's Palacios, so that's why.
That's not what it is.
It is. That's how it's pronounced. It's Palacios. So that's where I went, but it's Palacios for the player. Noted. I won't make that mistake again, Albert. I will rep for your Palacios people. This is a great question from J3. What does Cheese do for caffeine in the morning? I feel like you drink a cup of coffee, Cheese.
2 cups of coffee with French vanilla creamer for the musings.
That sounds pretty tasty. What else do we got? Here we go. Shlomo says in a GPP, Cheese, you want Olsen Arcia or Manoa Rocchio?
I'm sorry, say that again.
It was Olsen Arcia or Manoa Rocchio.
I don't understand that question. That's 2 hitters on one and a pitcher and a hitter in the other one. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need more context there.
Yeah.
Never mind. Reese Olsen. You have me at Matt Olsen. I couldn't get Matt Olsen on my head. Okay. That's so weird. I hadn't thought about that now. 2 Olsen lineups. I like Olsen Arcia out of that.
Okay.
Man, wow.
Is the other Olsen, is the hitting Olsen playing? Can we Olsen?
Yeah, it's Matt. That's Matt Olsen, the elite hitter, and Reese Olsen is the cheap pitcher.
Both on the slate?
On this slate today.
You got
when you said the name Olsen, all I could think of was Matt Olsen. I was like, why are we Matt Olsen or Allen? What is happening?
I feel like if you don't double Olsen, you're doing it wrong for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm going back and redoing lineups to double Olsen for sure.
A few more questions here. We got Marcus in the chat. He says, "Hey, Squirrel, I've got Brown, Manoa as my SPs with the Astros top 4. Is that going to be too popular in a $1 GPP?"
I don't think Manoa is going to be played very highly at all. So that I don't think you have to worry about the ownership there.
Great, very good. Okay, we got another question. Oh, I think that's the one that we did. I think. Yep. Squirrel, you a coffee guy?
Yeah, usually drink it until about noon. Yeah, set the coffee maker every night. It actually wakes up the dogs and then wake up me and my wife.
You said you drink it until noon as if this is a constant thing. Like, how many cups are we talking about here?
Like 2. It's not like 8 ounces. It's I don't know. It's probably 20 ounces of coffee. Just keep going down because I just keep going downstairs, refilling it up. Yeah. Occasionally, I'll do the microwave thing, right? Like re-microwave it if it's gotten too cold.
Okay, I need to get up. Oh, I'm in the chat. I'm sorry. Hey, shout out to the Discord folks. I've been hanging out in the bat chat because someone tagged me. I was in the wrong chat. So let me jump into that real quick and knock out these questions before we bounce out of here, guys. And there appears there's only one, or one person asking multiple questions.
But it's Dan Jan.
It's our guy Dan Jan. I'm sorry, Dan Jan. I was in the wrong Discord channel. Outfield on DK, Cheese 4K and under.
Sawinski.
Okay. Squirrel, I'm playing Albies and Merrifield together in a Blue Jay stack. Is that okay for single entry?
Yeah, I actually think it's a great idea because, like, when guys are the same position, like if those 2 guys both go off, which is like they're 2 of my favorite hitters on the slate, like people aren't going to own them together that much because you have to use like a util spot or put like Merrifield in the outfield or something.
Okay, very good note. All right, and then she's final question here from our guy Dan Jan. He says Henderson O'Hearn is DK single entry. Henderson O'Hearn or Baez Carpenter.
I like Henderson O'Hearn.
Okay, I think this might be a good one to end it on. Our guy Jay Brunton in the chat says game stack. Cheese, you want to talk about that?
I so much don't. We've been going over that in the MLB Discord this morning. He's just trying to stir up trouble.
I like it. All right. There's no game stacking in baseball, with the exception of wins.
You can play 2 teams who are playing in the same game.
Yep.
That's what that is. You are stacking one team in a game and the other team that happens to be playing in the same game.
Yeah, that's all. Squirrel Jeffrey says, I think we're just about out of here. Jeffrey says, how about a Pittsburgh stack in a single entry on DK?
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. Really, the only stack that I'd try to avoid in like single entry might be Detroit. I don't think their chances are that great. Like, I'd rather just not play Maeda, but like Pittsburgh definitely in play.
Okay, very good. Hey, with that, we are going to bounce on out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, we're going to be back later on today. Hit us with a thumbs up. We need the likes. We need the eyeballs to keep this show free for you. So hit us with a little thumbs up before you bounce. For Cheese, for Squirrel, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you later on today. You have been crushed.